Are you early or am I late? The relativity of the universe. Okay, how's that? Great, wonderful. Hi folks, this is a middle of the week stream because I have run out of lunch to eat, so I decided that we're gonna do a little midweek cook so that instead of eating peanut butter, which I just finished and ran out of, so there is no peanut butter for me to eat. Instead of eating peanut butter, I decided let's cook something so I can actually eat food instead of peanut butter. So welcome to all of you who are joining me today for cooking. I have some lentils soaking in that little glass jar. That is the last of my cheaper lentils, after which we will move on to the fancy bougie Rancho Gordo beans. But I'm gonna cook that with some of my garlic and parsnips that we prepped on Sunday, and I'm hoping to use some of Mom's ingredients and just clear out the pantry a little bit more. Welcome back to you who has not been here for a while. I also bought a lot of like wilty plums. I actually don't know if like that one in the front looks like it's hanging on for dear life, but I don't know if any of them are gonna be like flavorful. They might just be kind of bitter. You know, when plums get too ripe, sometimes they turn mushy and bitter. So we're gonna cut into those. We'll eat them with some yogurt. And that's it. I'm just here to hang, cook, feed myself food, kind of unwind from all the shit that we keep sloughing through. So welcome, happy Thursday to you. If you are here, congratulations on surviving yet another day in this mess. I don't know what to call it anymore. And feel free to let me know if there's anything you want to talk about, or anything good that's happened to you, or anything bad that's happened to you, or anything you're not sure if it's good or bad that's happening to you. As always, this is as much a space for you as it is for me, even though it is not a democracy. I try to be democratic sometimes. All right, so it goes. Look at how poor of a job I did from Sunday. I didn't even clean the pot after blanching my greens. That is my life now. Okay. I tried to put this young garlic shoot in water, and it didn't really work. I saw the stalks turn yellow. They actually stopped turning yellow, or at least slowed down turning yellow, when I put them in the fridge out of the water. So I don't know what that's about. I guess garlic doesn't work the same way as scallions do. So we're just gonna cook all of them because these were fucking expensive. These were $1 a stalk, and I'm not about to have them go off on me. So, and then I'm going to use this oil that's been in my fridge forever. This is a burlap and barrel spice blend that is meant to be made into hot chili oil. This particular spice blend is called California Heat. I probably made this last summer, but I've already like kept it in the fridge for so long that it hasn't gone rancid. So I was like, what oil do I want to use today to cook? And I was like, this oil. We should use this oil ASAP. So let me get that started. This young garlic honestly just looks like a really young leek to me. Even the greens look like leeks. The whites look like leeks. I'll show you soon after I finish cutting them. Tell me this doesn't look like the inside of a leek. It has the same kind of structures as a leek does. Hopefully it's not as gritty as a leek. And I'll also go ahead and chop up an onion because I have them and they're not going to get any fresher. Oh, and don't forget to remind me, I bought myself some like really nice artisanal cheese. So I would love to taste some of those with you. I've actually been holding off on tasting them so I can like unwrap the parchment paper with you all. Tax write-offs, you know? Let me pull up my chat first before I get my hands all gross. And see what you are all saying. For anyone who's interested in bureaucratic estate headache updates, I found out that Capital One does not offer estate accounts. So I had a very, very tiny checking account that Grandma had that I am now the estate administrator for. They issued me a check and I was going to cash that check to open up an estate checking account at Capital One because her account was at Capital One. So I went and I said, "Hi, can I please open up an estate account with this?" And the lady told me no, because apparently Capital One does not offer estate accounts anymore. So that was a newsflash for me. So now I have to go run around and open up another estate account at another bank that I'm not a customer at. So now you know, if you were planning on being a estate account holder at Capital One, you cannot. Well, I am seeing a lot of grit in this garlic, unfortunately. I feel like we should have washed this like we washed leeks, but we might just have to grit through it because I am too lazy to wash this baby up. Oh well. There is a price for everything. you to everyone who bought spices over the weekend while we were running our spring tariff sale. We almost hit as many sales as when we aired on Shark Tank. So that was quite surprising for a small company to see that, just based off of customer-based referrals. We got as many people to shop with us as airing on national TV during prime time. That was pretty cool. So just so you know, like, democracy isn't dead, but it seems like most of our motivation comes to consumerism. It is easier to buy spices than to speak out about Palestine, I suppose, but interesting food for thought, maybe. I guess that's why I think BDS movement is maybe the most impactful pro-Palestine action we can take right now, is just to make sure we're not supporting any company that is at least publicly and proudly supporting Israel. I was reading up on some shoe brands last night, and apparently Adidas was one of the brands that was initially boycotted under the BDS sanction movement, and I think they've withdrawn some of their sponsorships in Israel. So there is an impact. It may not be as fast or as, intense and deep as we need it to be right now, but slow and steady wins the race. I just put in a little bit of black salt in there. I have that salt. I'm going to use that salt. It's a little bit funky. It's got like a sulfuric lick to it. Some vegans like to use it, and they think it tastes like eggs. Gonna add some of my parsnips in. Oopsies. Yeah, I agree. Garlic should never be added before onion. Maybe you can add them together on a very low heat. But if it's on a direct flame with only oil in the pan, that shit will burn within like 10 seconds. So, agree. Yes, the garlic stems smell like garlic. Adding some turmeric in there. Adding some black pepper. That 1-2 punch of black pepper and turmeric. Give it a nice stir. Wait for these things to kind of golden up a little bit more before I drain and throw in the lentils. Does anyone have experience dealing with cat dandruff? That is my newest issue with my dear cat husband, is he started to produce a lot of dandruff. Very new development. It's not like he's never had dandruff, but the amount of dandruff that I'm seeing right now is way more noticeable than before. I have gone ahead and ordered him some anti-dander wipes, and I think I saw some Reddit folks recommend a Burt's Bee spray, so I've ordered both of those. A lot of people say add salmon oil to his diet, but I'm going to hold off on that just because he doesn't really like the salmon churro treats. And also when I tried to cook him salmon, he never touched the salmon. Neither the soup nor the meat of the salmon. So I didn't feel like wasting money on that yet. But if you have any other advice, I've heard a lot of people say you should brush him more frequently. I feel like I have been brushing him quite a bit because he doesn't really eat well until I pet him and brush him. So I'm not really sure what's changed other than maybe just we're cycling through a lot of strange weather. Sometimes we get 70-degree Fahrenheit weather, and then like yesterday we dropped to 30-something degree weather, so it's a lot of maybe humidity changes, but it could be diet related too. I finally started to kind of feed him 5-ounce cans of Friskies, and he seems to be taking well to that, but you know, Friskies is Friskies, so maybe it's not the best quality food. Unfortunately, my objective is always primarily just get food into him, doesn't matter what it is, because that was his main issue. That was his existential issue of dying if he doesn't eat, so that's where I'm at, but appreciate any and all advice you have for this topic. The strange ingredient I'm going to add into today's lentil mush is this black moss that Mom left behind. I think I used it once in that pantry clean out budget eats, but it did not do well. That was not a successful recipe. I wasted so much of our black moss. I felt so bad, but that was one of the few things that I had to like not eat after I wrapped the show because I just hated how it tasted. But I've learned that it's kind of just like a little bit of it literally looks like black hair, but then it kind of gels up a little bit once you add it to liquid. So it forms like this stringy agar-agar-esque. I don't know, it's a weird ingredient. You'll see. It literally looks like really tight hair. You see that? Yeah, very furry. I have not tried giving milk. I'm assuming you mean cow milk, but I don't even drink milk anymore. And I think I offered milk to him once, and he like licked it twice, but didn't really like it. I also have noticed that he doesn't really like yogurt that much either. He'll lick it, but he won't really finish it. Does milk help with dandruff? That's a new one. I know this strange ingredient looks kind of gross and questionable, but it was so expensive. The price tag on this bag says $17, and I can like swear my life on it probably that this is at least a decade old. So just imagine what $17 was worth like over a decade ago. This is not a cheap ingredient. I have no idea why my mom bought it. I'm assuming for health purposes. But yeah, it's a really interesting ingredient for sure. Also very hard to use. Like it splinters everywhere, so I get like little bits of black fur everywhere after I cook this. But we'll eventually work through it. And I feel like, I feel like a pregnant woman right now with those like weird urges to eat random flavors and items, but I have this little bit left of banana sauce, Filipino ketchup, and I'm just gonna add it for a little bit of like sweet ketchupiness, a little acidity. We'll see how this turns out. I have no idea how it's gonna turn out. I'd have to go ahead and rinse out the rest of that goodness. I don't know what that black stuff is. It just says sea moss. So we can Google it later. I think I Googled it when I was using it in Budget Eats once upon a time. And I do believe I recall it being a health ingredient, which justifies that price tag and explains why my mom had it. It doesn't really quite explain why my mom never used it, though. I wonder why she just hid it away. I don't know. There are so many mysteries to Mom that I don't really know, even to this day. I feel like my uncle and I keep finding out new things because he has like one set of information about my mom and I have another set of information about my mom, and we're just kind of like chatting and chatting and chatting, and once in a while we'll be like, wait, she did what when? That happened on what date? How come she never told me? I always thought X, Y, and Z, So, that was my mom. Just a mystery woman of her own misery and pains, quietly suffered. Which is not who I'm trying to be. No. If I'm suffering, y'all will know. Strangers on the internet will know. I have gone the opposite way of my mom, which is not better or worse. I guess we just keep trying things out as each generation goes on by. Alright. I blanched my radish greens earlier this week, so we can make like a little sardine salad with this. Let me wash my board. Is there a banana ketchup shortage? I have no idea. Well, I just used mine. Use it now or never. The concept of shortage is really fascinating to think about too, because you have to know that like once upon a time we did not have things available to us 24/7 365, and now that we're used to having these like unnaturally unseasonal things all year round from halfway around the world, it is so easy to just say like we have this shortage, but like maybe you weren't supposed to have access to it ever. And now that you've gotten to experience the pleasures of modernity and globalization, You freak out when things go missing or are on short supply, but like, you'll live. It's fine. We'll live. We'll live until we don't, right? So you'll just have to find other things to love, like bruised plums and cheese. Got a little bit of high and low coming up. But first I'm going to wash all of Memo's dishes. He stopped eating the 6 kinds of dry food that I've had out for him for weeks now, so I cleared them today. I collect them in a little plastic container that I take with me on my way to visit my thrift store sometimes, because I see stray cats, and sometimes I just leave a little puddle of rejected food by Memo for their, you know, availability. If they want to eat it, they can eat it. If they don't want to eat it, they don't gotta eat it. I'm sure someone will eat it, either pigeons or rats. And I've been thinking, like, in the past year how, you know, I've grown up seeing all these signs that normalize and standardize that sense of, like, don't feed pests, don't feed pigeons, don't feed rats. And I'm just like, okay, fine, sure, starve them out. But, like, we have rats in the human species, you know? We have pests in the human species. So I would honestly rather feed pigeons and rats than feed these mofos. Oh, missed one. Becca, I'm reading your comments from probably like 20 minutes ago. I think I got sick this past winter, but it didn't feel like as bad as the flu. It felt like a cold, but then I kept going in and out. I would have symptoms for like a day or two, or even 3 days. It would go away. I would be like, all right, I'm better. And then like 2 or 3 days later, I'll be like experiencing different symptoms again. And that just cycled for me for like 6 weeks. And now I'm at the point where, you know, I've had mono since last summer when grandma got really sick. And then that inflamed all of my autoimmune conditions up and like probably compounded my long COVID. And I don't know how long it's been since I've felt healthy. So I don't even know what's sick anymore. Do you guys know what's sick anymore? I don't know what's sick anymore. It's been so long since I've been saying I feel sick that, like, can I possibly be sick for this long? I don't know. Alright, I'm gonna wash all of these really sad, shrivelly plums. And they're very ripe. The sticker is coming off with the skin. I might actually taste these and then like peel them a little bit. IDK. I don't know why I bought these, honestly. At the time they were $1 in the bag and I was like, alright. I also got 2-for-1 mangoes and I got 4 of them and they're soft now, so I'm gonna wash these and peel them too and then put them in the fridge because I've realized that if I let the mangoes go unpeeled fridge, they turn brown. If I let them sit out for too long, they turn mushy and brown. But if I peel them and segment them and put them in the fridge, they last for like 4 days. So that's that. I also got 3-for-1 nectarines, but they also don't feel great. Don't know. I didn't make very many smart decisions with my budgets, with my budget buys this week. I've been reminding myself to use my prettier bowls more because the irony of buying prettier bowls that you love more is for some reason I don't use them as often because I feel like they're too special to use, and then I'm just like, that defeats the whole purpose of having a beautiful bowl. Like, use it. Raw salmon. You know, he always like, how fine, I have to chop it into like a mince or a tartare size because he doesn't seem to like munching. He has all of his teeth, but he doesn't seem to like munching on bigger pieces of wet food. Okay, it's algae, that makes sense. It reminds me of the texture of agar. It does thicken up the soup that it's into. Chicken Euphoria, what a name. Oh, that sounds so good. Yum. Yes, you did call the mango, indeed. I don't know if these are handmade, but probably I got them in a thrift store for like, well, there's like a really proper stamp on it, but it does look rather homemade. I grabbed like a few of these pieces. I think they were like $6 or $7, so they were kind of like splurgy for me as far as thrifting prices go, but I just felt like so beautiful. It looks even more beautiful in person. Like these little whiter splashes are like periwinkle lavender pink. Um, it reminds me of those like geodes. I think I'll probably need more salt in there. Let's see if I've got any salt adjacent things. Oh, we do still have our truffle oil. Yum. We can put miso. Oh, we can put a little bit of, I think gochujang would go well in here. Maybe not with the algae, but definitely with the ketchup, it'll go. Nice. We're almost there. We're making progress. But then again, algae, seaweed, there's a lot of seaweed in Korean cuisine. Gochujang is Korean. I feel like this could work. I guess the turmeric is throwing us for a loop, but that's for health. If you could only eat one cuisine for the rest of your life, this is a question I love asking people. What cuisine would you choose? We're gonna cut on plastic. I know, microplastic, as you can see, not great, but that board just had onion and garlic on it, and I'm not about to put it on my mangoes and plums, so. Okay, when you say Japanese, do you mean everything Japanese people make right now? Because I feel like Japanese culture is like ace at copying and finessing and improving every single other cuisine. So I feel like choosing Japanese in that context is a cop-out. But if you're choosing Japanese in terms of just like sushi and, you know, the more traditional breakfast stuff, I don't even know what oyokodon is. That sounds, well, it's something bowl. That's all I know. All right, Plum 1. Let's taste this with my yogurt. I want to show you guys two yogurts that I bought on clearance. One is Siggy's vanilla, whole milk. Yes, it has sugar. Yes, I'm technically pre-diabetic, but these were $2. But I have to say, out of these two, I love this one. Nuno's, great texture, really nice, thick but floral fragrant flavor. I don't know, it was like a big surprise for me, just how good this yogurt is. That was a cat hair. Also, the other thing is I think I have to be better about cleaning my apartment. Maybe that's causing his dandruff too. That plum is a good plum. It's starting to turn a little bit alcoholic, but it's still very, very sweet. Which will go into our container. Next plum. Plum 2 looks a little questionable. Also oddly okay. Very sweet. In fact, these plums are so sweet. I might eat this yogurt that was sold by March 11th, which is like almost a month now. Stonyfield. Really nice full fat yogurt. Drink that way. Dip our plum in. Gotta stir our mush. Make sure nothing's sticking. All right. I'm gonna drizzle some of this sugary whey in here so that it can season our unsweetened yogurt a little bit. Next plum. Oh yeah, that is low-key disturbing. Parent and child. That's fucked up. Man, humans are so fucked up. If you really take a look at what we've done as a species, we're so fucked up. Surprisingly, all of these plums have been okay. Wow. Actually, some of the nicest flavors I've experienced of late. Okay. Next one. Oh, this one's white inside. Interesting. These are all red. This one's white. An albino plum. Definitely not as sweet, a little tart, but there's no hint of bitterness. It just tastes like an underripe plum, and it looks like one too. This one is the worst looking one. It's like somewhere between these two colors. I segmented the bottom half because that's where it looked the worst. And now I'm gonna taste it from the middle. Okay, actually, really fucking good. What the hey? There's a little bit of blackness around the blossom spot, so I'm gonna trim that away. But otherwise, damn. Discount plums pulling through, y'all. I will chop up most of this one to eat with my yogurt though, because it was already looking a little rough. But not bad. Look at how much coloration it's given the yogurt already. I haven't even like really stirred it in. I'm just drowning it right now. Okay, I saved the best looking plum for last, and it would be hilarious if this one were the worst tasting one of all, because this one looks like the most perfect one of all. It looks pretty inside. But you know, looks aren't everything. Alright, ready? Let me have another taste, guys. Floral, appley a little bit in flavor. Sweet, but not the sweetest that we had, and the texture is a little bit mealy. I would say it's good as far as this batch goes, but not the best, surprisingly. So there you go. Looks are not everything. Sometimes. Not all the time for sure, but sometimes, yes. Have you ever met someone like, and it's not just a passing judgment, like you actually got to know them? Have you ever met someone who's ugly on the outside and on the inside? I don't actually know if I have. But I think I also don't automatically label people like ugly. But some people are. Let's be honest. Some people are just not great looking. Also depends on the day, right? Some days, oh my gosh. I look at my face in the mirror some days and I'm just like, it's probably best to turn off the lights right now. I had to put on makeup today. I know it doesn't look like I put on makeup, but technically there's a little bit of blush on my cheeks right now because I've been looking some kind of soggy lately. On my last blood test, my doctor did run some diabetes metrics, and I wasn't quite pre-diabetic yet, but I was like getting closer. Mostly because the last time I went to see her, I had been experiencing about 3 to 4 weeks of this new, what I think to be long COVID symptom, where I would have a huge energy crash after I ate a meal. Like, I would only be able to drink like 3/4 cup of a smoothie, or like eat one fruit, or like eat, I don't know, 2 tablespoons of peanut butter separately. If I like added all 3 of those up, or if I had an actual like full bowl of a meal, I would have absolutely no energy within about 10 to 20 minutes of eating. And so she was like, maybe we should get you checked for diabetes. So I think my blood sugar and whatever other metric there was, I forget all the letters and numbers now, but it definitely was higher than my usual. So, you know, it's not a surprise. I haven't been able to be active. I have no energy to actually exercise. I'm losing all my muscles. The way your insulin metabolizes shit is dependent on also like how fit you are. So, you know, my muscles are disappearing, my cells aren't functioning. Long COVID kind of wrecks the way your metabolism works in terms of, you know, energy production, and just one thing keeps leading to another. Oh, you're so right. Ram, I just saw, who said? Yeah, Ram, you said dashi broth. I just remembered on the last time we made this, I put some of the dusty pieces of the Korean anchovies in, so maybe I should do that here too. It's not dashi exactly, but it's fishy. But I do also have bonito I can use too once we get through these. Whatever. Alright, there we go. I think I have one more batch of fishies to use for another mush, and then we'll be done with that. Perfect. Okay. Everyone's shitting on plastic now because of all the, you know, news articles about microplastics and your system and all of that. But like, our world is made of plastic. Even if you eliminate all the plastic in your lives, where do you think you're throwing your plastic shit out to? Most of that ain't gonna get recycled. It's gonna get trashed in a landfill, washed away into oceans. It's gonna break down into microplastics. You eat your fucking seafood from the place where your plastics are breaking down. Plastic is degrading in the soil. It's in everything. Like, you cannot escape it. So I think it is actually, you know, stop buying new plastic like this. Stop buying new plastic. Maybe, yeah, but if you already have plastic, use it. Yeah, Asian standards of beauty. I don't even know. My face is not considered beautiful in Chinese culture. So, you know, my mom and my friend Daisuke, who's Japanese, they both confirmed that I am not beautiful by East Asian standards. So, you know, like if my looks are appealing to anyone, it's gonna be appealing to Western standards because of probably Orientalization. So whatever. You can't really win against standards, you know? They're there to make you feel inadequate. So if you live your life and you judge everything in your life, including yourself, by standards, then you will just keep falling short. If you've not seen Crimes of the Future yet, I highly recommend you watch it. All of these things that we thought were like allegories and metaphors and jokes and parodies and social critique are literally happening to us now. Have you seen Idiocracy? You should. It's literally what we're experiencing right now. Crimes of the Future. Huge plastic love in that movie. All right, here we go. Mango prep time. Oh, I need to get my containers ready. So my favorite way to do it is to cut off that little blossom stem end, peel around the equator. Maybe I can start ripping this one. It looks like it wants to be peeled. Have you ever peeled a mango? Wow. Wow, look at all that fiber. Okay. Interesting flavor on this mango. It's like almost a little like savory in a floral way. What are F-shaped peelers? Is that a thing, or are you trolling me? See from above and a stick below. Dude, I don't know if I've ever seen. Oh, the straight ones. Okay, okay. I see, I see. Okay, this little seed flesh is gonna be great in our yogurt. We're having dessert first today, I guess, for lunch. Or maybe dessert is lunch. The plums and yogurt combo is kind of giving me some coconut vibes. I don't know why. Okay. Hey, Granada. Were you affected by the storms at all that happened a few months ago? Some of the, our Up and Barrel spice supplier got hit really hard by those storms. It wiped out like so many of her trees. It was really sad. I've seen you before, Jam. I had no idea you lived in Granada. Fun. Welcome. Oh, I see, yeah. That makes sense. Is the visit lovely? Yeah, that's the same issue that we're facing with our supplier too. It was pretty devastating for them. Hi, Ontario. I mean, yeah, as the world burns and storms, we're just gonna, you know, see more and more of these sad realities hit closer and closer to home. We've lost our supplier in Palestine too, obviously, for obvious reasons. It's very devastating. And it's like really interesting how people think these things don't impact their lives. I mean, yeah, not everyone needs to eat za'atar, but like your food comes from somewhere. The people who grow your food are impacted by these things that you don't think impacts your life, but like we're all so connected now, you know, in a world of globalization. So, and with our awesome executive chief, we are seeing the acceleration of nonsensical destruction. Which has always been happening in other countries, but not here to this extent, so obviously and so quickly. So I guess in a way you could say that we're getting a taste of our own medicine. And everybody's just like blaming Trump, but I'm just here saying, do we as Americans on some level deserve this? Not to say that, you know, the people who are getting hurt the most right now are quote unquote the most American. They're going after immigrants first. But I've been thinking that it's only a matter of time that they start, before they start denaturalizing citizens. So it was nice knowing you all. It's going through my head some days. started following this new account on Instagram who has like all these insights about narcissistic abuse, but also how it translates into our current society, because our society is kind of structured in a very narcissistically abusive way. And he was saying how, you know, everybody's saying America's fascist now, but experts in fascism have been saying that America is fascist for a decade. And so he's saying that some of the most, you know, experts of fascism have already moved out of the US. And he said that should show you exactly where we are in terms of fascism right now. People are still saying, like, what can we do to change this? What can we do to turn this back? But it's like, you know, once you see the fire start engulfing the house, like, maybe you can't save the house anymore. Maybe you just need to, like, grab your kids and go. If you're still trying to stay inside the house to save it, quote unquote, that makes sense. Yeah, you're not the first person I've heard of who has left the US recently. I'm sure there will be more. This one's a weird one. It has veins. Let's taste it. Oh yeah, interesting. Still nice, but a little tannic. More so than the others. I'm glad that we're cutting all of them now, though. I feel like now is the perfect time. You know, and we know that Google and Microsoft and Meta are all working with the government to bolster Israel. So my lives, my videos, any content on social media can be shut down and deleted at any time. It's not like this is unheard of. We've seen it happen. Maybe not in the US, so obviously, but it certainly happened in other countries. It certainly happened in China, where my parents came from, where I came from. So you're just seeing the MO out in the open now, but it's always been the MO to do things like this. I was actually joking with Aaron yesterday. I was like, every country, if it calls itself a country, plays by the same playbook, because at the end of the day, they're a country, and a country will do what a country does. And then he says, what about Bhutan, which is a tiny country with like a per capita GDP of 14K? Compared to America, I think our per capita GDP is like 82 to 89,000, depending on what numbers you're looking at and what year. But they committed their own like genocide of sorts in 1988. I think 80 to 100,000 people were affected, just like brutalized, raped, killed. So, you know, every country. Even the good ones. Even the small ones. So when we say no borders, we mean no borders. But is it doable? Clearly not for this system. You know, I'm not sure how GDP is calculated. I'm definitely no economist. But that's a great question. I mean, America runs on debt. America is debt. America is not only financial debt, it's karmic debt. It's got debt everywhere, daddy. Ooh, these mango peels smell like crisp parsnips. Yum. Oh my gosh, I love that smell. Yeah, Portugal, as nice as it is now, and as lovely as the people are now, like literally the nicest country I've traveled to. Portugal did some nasty shit. I gotta plug you in, my phone's saying it's dying. One sec. Portugal did some nasty shit. But all empires fall. So, you cannot win forever. Just keep that in mind. You cannot win forever. The world runs in cycles. And sometimes those cycles last too long for us to individually see in a lifetime, but they run in circles. So, evolution, revolution, ascent and descent. We know this based off of physics, right? Every action has a reaction. What goes up must come down. Yada, yada, yada. But we have so much cognitive dissonance that we don't seem to be applying every piece of knowledge that we know to be true to things that we experience. We want to deny parts of reality, cherry picking through what is right and what is wrong when we know what is right and what is wrong. We just like to reject the stuff that we don't like. Like babies who don't want to eat vegetables. But honestly, vegetables are delicious if you can just, you know, allow yourself to experience it without this kind of a bratty attitude of I must get what I want at all times when I want it immediately, and I don't want to touch anything I don't want to touch ever. Like, you're just going to make yourself and other people miserable. I don't think I'm gonna dry the mango peels because I don't know what's on them. But that's a great idea. I'm sure if there weren't like massive amounts of pesticide on 2-for-1 mangoes, that would make a delicious tea. But I think also some people are kind of allergic to the resin in mango peels, so maybe don't do that if you're allergic to latex and things like that. My fatigue is setting in, and I'm glad we're almost done. I think I'm gonna put these in the Should I put them in the fridge? Yeah, I'm gonna put them in the fridge. Oh, and we have to taste fancy cheese. We have to taste fancy cheese. Fancy cheese. Wow, for some reason, maybe it's the order in which I place the ingredients, the lentils are not breaking down into mush. They're retaining their texture. Wild. My lives are mirrored because I think something changed either within the Android camera system and or YouTube setup. So I'm using my front camera, which is mirrored. However, if I turn you to my back camera, it won't be mirrored, but I can't see what you see because I don't get to see a feedback of myself on my phone screen, so I have no idea what I look like until I play myself on my computer screen. So that's why. Does that make sense? So I don't even know what you're looking at right now. I have to refresh my page and see where we're at. Oh yeah, you see me. This way. Yeah? There you go. One thing that you'll also notice with the back-facing camera is it actually focuses when I come closer and zooms out a little bit and focuses again when I move away. So it looks more like a real camera. It looks more high-tech. If you prefer this, I can do this. I just won't get to like look at my own face while I talk to you, but that's fine with me. Yay for technology. The same technology that's killing people right now. Double-edged sword. We are all stuck in the Matrix. Me too. All right, fancy cheeses. This is called Jake's Gouda, or Gouda. Jake's Gouda. This was $25 a pound. I asked for a quarter pound, but this cost $7.50, so I'm guessing it's, oh, it says right here, 0.3 pounds. Then we have Finger Lakes Gold. I actually don't remember what this one is, but this was $33 a pound. I asked for a quarter pound, almost $9. And then I got Red Rock. This one I do remember. This is a blue cheese cheddar hybrid. It has a single vein of blue mold running through it. I just was struck by the beauty of it. And this was $25 a pound. And I got 0.3 pounds, so I spent and splurged on cheese because, I don't know. what else am I gonna do as we just burn? So I don't know if anyone has 401k or IRA or any investments in stocks, but like I do not recommend looking at your portfolios. Mangoes are good. I think the Finger Lakes Gold is a goat cheese, but let me look it up. Finger Lakes Gold. 3-month goat milk cheese, aged, mellow and nutty in flavor, firm and in texture, natural, beautiful rind. All right, shall we then? I'm going to take out a little bit of this, let it cool so we can taste for flavor while we taste the cheese. I'm going to start with this goat. This is the most expensive one at $33 a pound. There's a little sliver of it. That fell out. Here's the natural nut rind. It is very beautiful. Man, how like delinquent of me for wanting to just take a straight ass bite out of this. I won't, but I want to. But I won't. God, but I want to. Okay. I won't, but I want to is the new title of my memoir that will never get written. Okay. I would say that's a good, I don't know, 68 cents of cheese maybe. It looks like it's already got a little mold on it. I'm gonna trim that piece away, sorry. Got a little fuzzy buzz on it. It's okay, it's cheese. Cheese is mold anyway. All right, I'm just making sure you can see. I think you can. Yeah? Okay. It's like very mild, a little bit mozzarella in the creaminess of it, but definitely a little bit perky. Like really, really like cultured butter. It's like very rich and creamy smelling, but with a little bit of tartness and buttermilk note. And the goat scent of it was heavier when I took it out of its package and less so now. Mm. This is one of the least goaty goat cheeses I've ever tasted. It's quite salty. Not quite as salty as Parm, but it's leaning more towards pecorino territory. It's got a little bit of the waxiness of Parm in the flavor. What is that? Strange. Yo, if somebody handed you a piece of naan that was baked in a stone, like a pebbly stoned oven, like a searingly sweltering pebbly stone oven, hot stone, It's that scent that's floating off of the bread. Like freshly stone oven baked bread smell and taste, actually. It's almost a little bit floury in the texture as it melts away when you chew through it. The way that like a pizza crust might be coated in a little bit of extra flour, and you get that kind of almost chalky, almost gritty, but like just kind of sandy texture. I love the rind on this. The rind gives it more of like floral, goaty gaminess. The cheese itself doesn't have much of a goat note, but the rind really punches through with that goat note. Wow, this might be like one of the more special goat cheeses I've ever tasted because of just how not gamey it is. Very fascinating. Very cool. And if you live in Queens, this is from a shop right in my neighborhood in Jackson Heights. It's called Standalone. I really recommend it if you're into nice cheeses. It's a really tiny shop, but they carry a lot in their small store area. All sorts of cheeses, soft, bloomy, hard, aged, fresh. They even make sandwiches sometimes. Okay, next up, I'm going to taste the Gouda, Jake's Gouda. Let me look it up. This was $25 a pound. Sounds American, huh? I asked him if he had Gouda. I still feel weird saying Gouda, even though I think that's how it's supposed to be pronounced. And he recommended like a super aged one at first, and then I was like, I'm not feeling that. Give me something less aged. So he recommended this one. Our story. Jake's Gouda cheese began with a simple idea. Well-crafted food is inherently good. I'd agree with that. Made in upstate New York. Okay. So very, very, very local. Okay, yep, as advertised, there's a little bit of crystals. You can see the white dots there, salt crystals, aged crystals, but not as much as like a super aged Gouda. Nice little rind here. It looks like a little, like cheese rind candy almost. Trying to make sure I don't block your view with the super high-tech focusing here. Oh, that was way bigger than I intended to cut, but here we have it. Okay. Are you supposed to eat the rind on Gouda, or is that wax? I think the rind on Gouda is wax, right? Somebody confirm or deny. Nice little hole structure here. So fun. Okay. Oh wow, it smells like olive oil toast. It smells like really nice, white, substantial, hearty bread that's been sort of half doused in olive oil, and it was like toasted fresh just now. Bitter, nutty. Bitter was the first note that came through on my tongue. And then it curves into that nutty, and then it curves into the sweet, and then it curves into the salty. The texture is very, very pleasing. It almost has the texture of like a salt crystalled cream cheese. It doesn't look soft, and it isn't, because as you can see, it holds its shape. but the way it interacts with your tongue and like the heat inside your mouth, my teeth is just like moving through it as if it were cream cheese. I don't know if you hate chewing noises, but I can hear the salt crystals grinding between my teeth. So if you like soft cheeses that are still like semi-firm, that also has salt crystals, this is a very special one. I really recommend this one. I'm gonna see if I can cut through this rind. Yeah, I don't think I should eat this rind. I was kind of bummed because I thought after looking at all of their cheeses, asking for a Gouda cheese was like kind of basic, but this is a truly unique cheese. Like what I love about fancy cheeses is that depending on the piece you eat and how close it is to the center of the reel or wheel, I guess, and how close it is to the crust or the rind, you taste different characteristics of the cheese come through. So it seems like the closer you get to the rind on both this cheese and the last cheese, you get more floral notes. And as you get closer to the center, you get creamier notes that are a little more buttery and just like unfettered, like plain, but more interesting notes definitely around the outside, closer to the rind. Fascinating. Okay. No, I nibbled on the rind. I didn't eat it. It really looks like it's wax. Yeah, I don't think I can digest. It's so stretchy. This is the stretchiest wax rind I've ever. Wow, it's elastic. Holy, that's fun. I pulled the cheese apart. All right. Cool. What a treat. What a treat. I'm like starting to like sweat on a microcosmic level. I'm not actually sweating, but I feel energetic and excited, and my metabolism is burning up right now with both anticipation and so much salt. This is Red Rock. I believe it is a blue cheddar. Okay, it's got a very, 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 very funky moldy rind. A little bit of moldy rind just fell out as I was, oh wow, it's so ashy too. I feel like that amount of mold will immediately make my allergic responses flare, but woo, that is moldy. If you're a fan of mold, you will like this, baby. Look at the 360 mold on that. Wowee. And then that's the stripe of blue that I was alluding to earlier. Oh, blessed. Crazy ass world. I'm gonna get a little bit of the moldy rind piece and then a little carving out of the mold inside. Let's start there. All right, I'm gonna go for the inside piece first. Nice strain of blue mold running through. Wow. The blue cheese taste of this overpowers any semblance of cheddar I get. Let me just Google this. Red Rock cheese. Let me just make sure I'm not giving you fake news. American style, naturally bloomy rinded cheddar cheese with a slightly blue vein, rich colored with annatto and cave aged to maturity, mild flavored with a creamy texture, made with pasteurized cow's milk, aged at least 60 days. So this is the least aged of all of our cheeses. Hand cut, wrapped in plastic, recommended to enjoy within 3 weeks. This is with a lot of mold on the rind, so. I'm so fascinated by this cheese because I feel like it doesn't have that exciting of a taste. And yet this was our most expensive cheese. Again, looks aren't everything, folks. Very mild. Okay. It's got a very pleasant texture. But, oh, okay. I think I have to eat more of it. That third bite just gave me a wash of flavor that I did not experience on the previous bites. All right, let me get a more balanced bite. So this is a little bit of rind and a little bit of the cheddar and a little bit of the vein. Okay. Definitely not a cheese that I will lust for again. So probably not gonna buy this. But the texture is very smooth. It's not as rubbery as supermarket cheddar cheese. Is not as crumbly as the super crunchy aged cheddars. The flavor is such a muddied sort of bouquet because the rind has this sort of floral, moldy, but also like fuzzy mouthfeel that kind of dampens everything a little bit. You know, like how piano keys have that layer of felt to prevent the hammering from wearing down the mechanisms too much. The mold on that rind feels like it's acting like that felt on piano keys. So that strain of blue has taste, but it's washed out by like the mildness of the cheddar. I could see this working really well on a cracker, preferably on a wheat thin or a Triscuit. And I think it's not like eating on its own cheese alone. All right, there you have it. I'm kind of exhausted now. I don't actually know how I ever managed to film Budget Eats before, because even just tasting these 3 cheeses and trying to describe them just now wore me out. I've put them in this plastic container in their parchment with a little bit of airflow and sandwiched by the brown paper parchment that is waxed up and down. And this is to try to trap all of the funky or cheesy flavors from escaping. It literally smells like something's rotting in my kitchen every time I buy fancy bloomy cheese. So I try to like trap it but not airtight it, because airtighting it creates a lot more mold, like undesirable mold. But not wrapping it at all or enclosing it will make my house smell like I've killed so many things. So don't know if I'm flushing, but I feel this area of my eyeballs like flaming. Am I allergic to the mold? Possibly. Ooh, maybe that's not good for my like long COVID histamine triggers. Damn. You do need a lunch. Also, if you're allergic to penicillin, I recommend you stay away from moldy cheeses and blue cheeses. Because I think they found penicillin from like a strain of cheese mold. So those are related. Just make sure. Not everyone reacts to ingredients the same way. Some people like die just by touching an ingredient, so. Actually, that's how I should have known I wasn't that allergic to penicillin. You know what I mean? Because I've been eating blue cheese for fucking ever and I never like passed out. Wow, I can't believe it took memo biting me and the doctor telling me it's either this antibiotic or less effective ones that can land you in serious trouble for me to find out that I'm not actually that allergic to penicillin. See? The lentils. They're still like individual grained. I've never seen this happen with red lentils before. I think it must be the agar-agar. Maybe it enveloped each lentil in its own gel. Like even now as I'm stirring it, it's not disintegrating like it normally does. That's fascinating. Maybe I inadvertently just discovered one way to keep red lentils whole. Oh, that's really good. It's perfectly seasoned. Sweet, spicy, salty but not too salty. I still want to make like a fish and green salad here though. Let me see. All right, let me adjust my camera so you can see what I'm doing here. Wow, I'm so good at aiming that without even knowing. Okay, I got 2 cans of sardines here. One is lemon and olive oil, and one is smoked in oil. So I think I'm gonna toss them in here and make a little fish salad. That way I have some protein. I think this is too much oil. BRB. We're gonna add in a little bit of our homemade sauerkraut, the purple kraut. A little nutritional yeast. Black pepper. And we'll give this, oh my gosh, a mix. Maybe I should clean that up. It could have been beautiful before I mixed it, but now it's gonna be tasty. So. The nutritional yeast kind of breaks down and melts down into this creamy dressing. It combines with all the liquids and rehydrates itself. The fish, because it's canned and super tender and flaky, it also kind of melts. So then you just end up with this like really disgusting mush. But now we get to taste it. Gray mush time. Oh, I need to look for more of that lemon sardine. That lemon sardine is delicious. Yum. That's perfect. Not too salty, not too fishy, not too sauerkrauty. Just enough acidity. It's fresh and not too oily. Wow, this turned out way better than I thought it would. Okay, folks. Thanks for cooking with me and cutting fruit with me and eating yogurt with me and cheese and all this mush. I'm gonna have to turn you back because I don't know how to end the live if you're facing the other way. But I have to go now. I have to sit and recover from this energy expenditure and also do work. I wish you the best. Maybe I'll see you this weekend. Who knows? Be well. Stay hydrated. I'm still not back on my vitamins and I don't feel worse for it. And I haven't smoked weed in probably 5 days and I'm sleeping in a pretty solid chunk from at least 1 a.m. to 7 a.m. So at least 6 hours of sleep, which is pretty good. Sometimes if I get to bed a little bit earlier, I can get 7 in. So there's improvement on the sleep front. Yeah, joggle up your routines a little bit if things just don't seem to be helping or getting better, and keep experimenting. May peace and faith and solidarity be with you, and good luck in staying faithful to your values if they're what make you happy.